Today we are pleased to welcome Brian Berger, who is, I am told, and this I am just reading the notes I was given, the ever so much younger brother of Barry Berger Goldman. It's just what the note says. And also the uncle of the bar mitzvah of Jake, as our darshan today. He's the father of two, Daniel and Gregory, and they have joined us here as well to celebrate Jake's bar mitzvah. Brian lives in Connecticut outside of New York City with his wife Layla, and you can read about Brian and the entire family in Laugh Lines, created and written by Layla, who's a freelance writer for the Norwalk Citizens News. It is a pleasure to be able to share the bima with him this morning. Welcome.
Shabbat Shalom. Several months ago, when my sister Barry called to me if I would consider giving the Dara Torah on the Shabbat of Nathan's Jake's bar mitzvah, I was hesitant. After all, this is not exactly my strong suit. Between you and me, I didn't pay much attention at my many, many years of Hebrew school. I don't know what I was doing, but not paying attention. And just ask my sons, Daniel and Gregory, how long it took them to reteach me the Ashrei, a relatively simple prayer that to this day I can't chant without them feeding me the lines beforehand. But, as anyone knows Barry could contest, she does not respond to the word no. So though I was a bit nervous, I ultimately agreed. And I thought I would be up for the challenge, and I would even do this entire speech in Hebrew to impress my nephew, Jake. But when I learned today's portion, Bab Midbar, is from the book of Numbers, I began to get excited. Great, I thought. I'm an accountant. I love numbers. I'm also married to a writer, and my brother-in-law is this famous LA writer. I'll get them to write it. So Layla, Michael, and Rabbi Ron Fish, thank you. Bab Midbar, which literally means into the wilderness, begins in the Sinai desert when God commands, quote, to take the sum of the congregation of Bnei Yisrael. In other words, God wants Moses to take a census, a formal count of his people. That seemed kind of strange because back in the first book, Genesis, God promises Abraham, quote, I will surely bless you and make your descendants as numerous as the stars in the sky and the sand on the seashore. So why is God now asking Moses to take a tally of the people he had previously promised to be so numerous to be uncountable? And even if he was speaking metaphorically, and the Jews did add up to a finite number, didn't God make these people to begin with? And therefore, shouldn't he, in his infinite wisdom, already know how many we are? As a man who is very fond of numbers, I count all day long. I count my age, still 29. I count my money. I count how many months until my son Greg graduates from college so that I will ultimately have more money to count. Greg, 11 months, 30 days, and 10 hours. I count my meals, I count my carbs, I count my weight, I count the minutes I spend at the gym, I count how many years I've been married, and I count my precious nieces and nephews. I even counted down the number of days until our family would all gather to celebrate Jake's bar mitzvah. For me, the routine of counting provides a sense of calm. The Midrash says, quote, a person invests time and effort to inspect and count objects that are precious to him. The more valuable the item, the more carefully he will scrutinize it. And Rashi explained a similar sentiment when he stated, quote, because of God's great love for his people, he counts them all the time. Rashi's statement brought to mind a gold necklace that my late Grandma Ann passed down to my mother and Jake. It's a large, braided chain, similar in size to something CeeLo Green would wear. It features a large medallion, and in the center are gold charms that dangle from it. Each charm is inscribed with the names and birthdays of her children, and more importantly, her beloved grandchildren. When you meet my mother for the first time, whether it's because someone brought you home for a holiday dinner, my parents are known far and wide for their open door policy, or maybe you were simply minding your business at the gym, or in line in the grocery store, or more likely at a tag sale, she will be sure to show you the necklace. And whether or not you're interested, she will go on to familiarize you with each and every one of her 11 grandchildren in birth order. That's Daniel, Gregory, Kelly, Andrew, Sarah, Jake, Nathan, Lewis, Maxwell, Noah, and finally, Addison. She will painstakingly explain to you, charm by charm, which one is responsible, who has a great sense of humor, who is a high achiever, who is kind-hearted, who is sensitive and who is always crying, who is fun and who is silly, and who repeatedly gets into trouble just like their father. Even when my mother is not showing off her famous necklace, she inadvertently touches the charms throughout the course of a day, as if she's constantly conducting her own census. And although the inscribees are scattered throughout the country, from Pennsylvania to Connecticut to Missouri, all the way to California, to Delaware and to New Jersey, she's always accounting for us. Which brings me back to the Parsha, when God told Moses specifically to count the people with respect and treat every one of them as an individual. Quote, "The Holy One, blessed be he, told Moses to count each one of them with honor due to greatness." Just like my mother knows how many children and grandchildren she has without having to touch the charms on her necklace, God already knows how many of his children walk the earth at any given time. It's not the physical act of taking of a tally that reminds us how special we are, that in God's book and in my mother's book, we are each a lam katan, a small universe. Shabbat shalom.